click on one pipe, and if you notice over here, your duct at one level, everything's kind of has its own space in there, but every now and then you have to do some ducts or some offsets up and down, and it's going to be copper. So those are the kind of 3 things, or the 4 or 5 things you need to know. So right now I'm just going to click on one, okay? I'm going to click on one pipe, and if you notice over here in the properties, it gives us a default pipe, and there are some systems that are already in place. This one's calling it out as a hydronic supply, okay? But if you notice, we have domestic cold and domestic hot water already in place. The thing is I want to teach you guys how to create your own systems and not use what is already given to you. So we're just going to keep it at what it's brought us in at, is with hydronic supply. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to click on the pipe, and over on the top right-hand corner, there is a tab called Piping Systems. Okay, click on that, it comes up yellow. Now this is saying hydronic supply 3, gives us a whole properties list. And this is what this menu is it's allowing us to change the actual system. So all the information that pipe is giving us, we can change it through this tab. So the first thing we want to do is I usually go to edit type. And if you notice, this is now the type of property for that pipe system. Yeah.
All right, I lost.
No, you're good. So we're going to click on pipe, yeah, and then we come up here in the tabs, and there's one that's called piping systems. Okay, so we click on that. We're going to go edit type over in our properties bar. Okay, so now this is basically where everything information-wise is held. So you notice fluid temperature, we're at 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Like this is where you can put all the information that comes from the manufacturer, whatever it is. That's the I and bin, right? Now we don't need to know most of this stuff. What we're really looking for are a couple things, but not in the properties. All we're doing in the properties is we're going to duplicate it and we're going to rename it. We're going to call this first one. It's called UVU, domestic hot water. Okay, and now we're going to do this. I'm going to show you guys one time, okay? And then you guys are going to create the other 2. I'm still going to create them here on the screen, but I'm not going to walk you through all of them. It's going to be recorded. But you need to create all 3 by the end of tonight. Is the idea. So we're going to go through UV domestic hot water. Okay, we're going to hit OK, and we're going to hit OK one more time. And you notice in our properties bar, what did it do? It changed domestic information that comes from the manufacturer, whatever it is. That's the I and bin, right? Now we don't need to know most of this stuff. What we're really looking for are a couple things, but not in the properties. All we're doing in the properties is we're going to duplicate it and we're going to rename it. We're going to call this first one. It's called UVU, domestic hot water. Okay, and now we're going to do this. I'm going to show you guys one time, okay? And then you guys are going to create the other 2. I'm still going to create them here on the screen, but I'm not going to walk you through all of them. It's going to be recorded. But you need to create all 3 by the end of tonight. Is the idea. So we're going to go through UV domestic hot water. Okay, we're going to hit OK, and we're going to hit OK one more time. And you notice in our properties bar, what did it do? It changed it to UV domestic hot water. Okay, but now if you notice, our system name is still hydronic supply 3, right? Now usually you can come in here and you can just type in what you want it to be called. If this doesn't work, there is another way we can do it. UV domestic hot water. Okay, so now my system name is there. Oh, I need to go back to where you guys were. Yeah.
We're doing the same thing right now with the other 2 pipes?
What?
We're doing the same thing right now with the other 2?
Well, just one. Yeah, in a minute.
Okay.
Yes, you will. Okay, so piping systems, edit system, right? So we've got our UVU domestic hot water. We've got our system name. Now, so when you guys click on yours and you click on piping systems, you're right here, right? This is what your screen should look like. Okay, we've got our piping systems, our UV domestic hot water. Now, there are comments, and typically we can, if we go edit type, a lot of the times, yeah, right here. So if you click, I'll go back and do that one more time. So if we're going to pipe, make sure it says UVU domestic hot water. We got system name, UVU domestic hot water. I'm going to click on edit type. Now in here, we're going to add an abbreviation, okay? Now this abbreviation is going to do a couple things for us. One, it allows us to be able to search for something in the future. So when we want to, there are things in here called filters. You can turn things on and off with a click of a button, but it's more specific than touching pipe. To turn off all the pipe, you can turn off one kind of pipe. That type of pipe would be domestic hot water in this example. So under abbreviations, we're just going to go UVU. We'll go, that's a lot of, let's go UVU HW. Or we go UVU-HW too. Let's go UVU-HW. Okay. Typically, your abbreviation is like for domestic hot water, be DHW, DCW is what you'd read on a set of drawings. But the thing is, those other properties or those other pipes that are already in there as domestic cold water are already going to have abbreviation DCW. And the whole point of this exercise is to show. Yeah.
Any data? All of that.
Take little 2 black arrows. You hit that, it should drop it down.
2 blue tabs.
So yours looks something like this.
No, mine only has segmented fittings. The other one's identity data. What's the? So now,
I'll re-show you guys. To edit type right here. Okay. What you need to do is you need to go click on your pipe and come up to system piping systems up here on your tab, so on your water. Okay. And then I'm going to add my abbreviation. It's the same process for now. This one is interesting because it's got no name, right? But it's got my system types, and so this is where you guys up front want to change the type. So we've created a system type, but now we need a pipe type. Does that make sense? So all I'm going to do is, this is where you guys probably got a little bit either off track or ahead, but now instead of click on pipe and going to piping systems, now I'm just clicking on that pipe and I'm going to properties and hitting edit type and duplicating it there. So there's a difference. There's a pipe type and there's a systems type. So pipe, while I'm drawing, it shows up right here in the properties bar instead of me having to go to my system. Hot water, and then usually that's for like if you render it. Hit apply, and then we're just going to go back in and now create a new pipe type. that is UVU domestic hot water REC. Okay. Now what you should have is you should have 3 pipes for hot water to circ, hot water cold, and hot water, just regular hot water. And when you click on all 3 of them, you should have 3 things as a check. Okay. You should have it where you click on UVU domestic hot water in your properties, and it should match if you scroll down to your systems as UVU domestic hot water. But your next one, it should match as UVU cold water and should match in your system types as cold water. And then in UVU domestic hot water circ, it should match your system type for your system type should match. Okay. So you should have all 3 pipes that all 3 match. Okay. Now, what's the purpose of this? Why am I doing this besides wanting for me to know why I have 3 pipes that are called 3 different things with 3 different pipes? Does anybody have an idea of why we create for the field? Is it right? So it's pipe, but what kind of pipe is it? They mentioned it each. If you do the abbreviation, we call it your. Let's a quick example here. Let's see, it's not gonna. Pipes, accessories. No, going to the wrong folder. It's annotation. Pipe. We'll just grab abbreviation tag. So now, if you notice, when I create that tag, it automatically tells me that's a UVU hot water pipe, right? Tag this way, okay? And those filters are going to help me identify what the pipe is, and we can actually. And we're going to go over to our filters tab, okay? Our filters tab is where we can now create any filter we want. You can create it any way you want to. It's just filters. We're going to go to our visibility graphic team to know what that system is and what's clashing. Like if they see something weird in the model, they think, hey, that pipe, that roof drain looks off to me, and they know it's that roof drain because it has a certain color associated to it. But for the filters, we're going to go to our visibility graphics, and we're going to go over to our filters tab, okay? Our filters tab is where we can now create any filter we want. You can create it any way you want to. It's just a matter of knowing how to create it. Okay. So for this first one, we don't have any. I mean, if you hit add, there are like 3 that are one that's already in their interior, and that just comes with the template. So if you had your if we use the mechanical template, it would come with like 4 pre-made filters that we could use. But we actually want to create a new one. So we're just gonna go edit/new. Okay. And now this menu pops up. Okay. Now what this menu is basically saying, hey, I've got a list of categories. And what I want you to do is I want you to select what categories you want me to look inside of for that information. So if I have my ducts selected, for example, and I type in something that's related to my pipe, it's not going to find it because why? It's searching in my duct category, right? So your categories have to match what you're looking for. In this instance, we're looking for piping. But before we do that, we have to change. We have to basically duplicate something, right? So I usually just start with whatever the base is. You can do a duplicate, or you can do a new. Let's just do a new. So I come in here, and the new is the little paper with a little star in the corner. I'll hit new, and we got to name our filter, right? So we're going to call it UVU domestic, and you'll do this 3 times. So domestic hot water, and we're going to hit OK. Now the nice thing is once we do one, we can duplicate all of them and just change the naming. It pretty much works. Okay. So we've got UVU domestic hot water. Now we got to go through our categories, and we got to go find what categories we want. So I'm just going to go down, and we're going to do piping accessories, pipe fittings, pipe installations, pipe placeholders, pipes, and piping systems. Okay. So everything in there. Right now, I want to find, and you'll find the one thing we'll show you here in a second is some of these don't actually fit the narrative of what we're actually going to be searching for. So we'll take some of these off here in a second. But I want to show you what it would look like if you selected everything. Okay. So now up at the top, we have basically a rule. Okay. So in here, this is where you're saying in here, find this that equals this, and that's what you're going to search. But you'll notice that we're wanting to search under system abbreviations. Is what we classified it as. That was our search parameter. But you notice under here, I don't have system abbreviations. Okay. The reason why I don't have system abbreviations is because some of these categories might not have that system abbreviation in it to be able to search for it. Does that make sense? So it's only telling me like or common search parameters that are in my selected lot. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start clicking off of some. Usually pipe placeholders is usually like one to start. Okay. I'll take off piping systems, and boom, I've got piping accessories, pipe fitting, pipe installations, and pipes is what I selected. And you'll notice when I took off piping systems and pipe placeholders, now my list doubled, tripled, right? Because they have more common properties than the other 2 had with it. So we have system abbreviation, which is what we created, which is what we want. Okay, so we'll scroll down. We'll go to system abbreviation. The next box is saying, okay, within system abbreviation, how do you want me to find it? Do you want it to be equal? So whatever is in system abbreviation, it has to be exact word for word with this for me to find it. I mean, or it could be end with the letter